Hey, dude, what's going on?
Hey, it's time to hang a man.
Yes, we're going to talk about Hangman's Chair, their latest album, Saddiction. But I have something that I've been dying to share with you for a couple of days now. I was sitting with my wife on our lanai. If you're not in Florida, it's your back porch. So we were sitting on the lanai the other day, and my wife sort of leans forward in her chair, and she looks at me and she says, John, can I talk to you about something? So, what's up? And she said, she kind of paused for a second and she looked at me and she said, I think I might like Meshuggah.
What?
That is the proper facial response. Yes.
But was it the beer Meshuggah, the Meshuggah beer, or was it the band that she actually likes?
No, she was fine with the beer. She enjoyed the beer. I'll try and show it here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on screen, but she did try Immutable Ale, and she was a fan of that as well. But no, in fact, she was referring to the band. My wife is one, and we've talked about this on the podcast before. My wife is one who she has a visceral and physical response to really aggressive music, and that's why she's historically not been a fan of it. It makes her feel bad. Because it is visceral music. So yeah, it came out of the blue the other day, and I'm telling you, I'm over the damn moon that my wife might like Meshuggah.
Well, you know what? Sometimes repetition will do that. I had a moment where I thought I liked Lady Gaga. But then I'm like, no. Still can't buy it into it. But the repetition of Lady Gaga over the years got me for just a split second when I was in the car with the kids, and then it left immediately. So I'm glad that she succumbed to greatness. And I'm not saying that Lady Gaga is not great, but Meshuggah is far better.
I couldn't disagree with that at all on any level.
No.
And, hey, so I'm so psyched. I'm excited I had to share. Today is not about Meshuggah.
It's a big jerk-off fest for Meshuggah so far. Sorry, Hangman's Chair.
Yeah, all days should be Meshuggah days. But today, we're talking about Saddiction from Hangman's Chair. Now, you turned me on to these guys just recently. I was not familiar with them. Interestingly, they're another band out of Paris, as is 1056, who I did a short review on the other day. And I dig it, man. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, so this album came out February 14th. I've had it on... I've been listening to the crap out of it this year. And you and I were kind of going back and forth on what's turned us on. And so I shared this along with a few other records. It's sad music for really depressed people. And I mean that in the best way possible. What I really liked about them was that they went against the grain. So the drums and the bass are very much forward on their production qualities and are prevalent. And you can feel almost like a pulsating rhythm to their music that can be a little bit mesmerizing, kind of in the lines of Tool, but not quite Tool. Tool is more jammy. I think the best way to describe them was The Cure meets Typo Negative meets Queensryche, but not the high-end Queensryche, just some of the production qualities Queensryche and slight odes to Jeff Tate, if you will. But it's very, very unique. And that's what I really like about this band.
They're on Nuclear Blast Records, and Nuclear Blast describes them as sitting at the crossroads of Typo Negative, Life of Agony, and Sisters of Mercy, to name a few. And I came in cold. I know they've been around from 2005. They've got a number of albums out. But again, coming in cold, this album felt refined to me, and in the little bit of reading I've had a chance to do before talking today, the lead singer, and we'll get into the band members here in a moment, I think it was the lead singer who was saying that they feel like they have found their identity with this album.
It's interesting too, because as you go through it, you won't hear guitar leads.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that stood out. It's like, how do you have a successful rock metal record without guitar leads? And somehow each song stands independently from the next. And there's really, really hooky melodic choruses that are in there over this thundering juggernaut of a sound. And for me, it was just a very unique experience. It stood out instantaneously from the other things. And John and I get a ton of music every single day in our email from the different record labels, and I'll click and listen to it when I have time. A lot of times I'll be sitting and pooping, and that's when I do it. And
Library
I'm like,
music.
yeah, you got to do it when you can. I mean, we've got the real job and, life and everything else. And so I'm sitting there going through and I'm listening to it. Nope, 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 nope. But then Hangman's Chair came along and they made that session on the throne really, really good.
I'm sure they'll be thrilled that was your first experience, or well, your first experience with this album anyway.
Hey, listen, it's well worth it. But I know that they're considered doom metal. I wouldn't say that this album is a doom metal record whatsoever. It's not goth. I think it sits across genres, and like I said, the melodic choruses that are so sing along. They're not pop, but they're just good, well-written songs with really, really good melodies that people will get in their head and it'll be an earworm and it will stay there. And this record has stayed with me since February 14th when it came out.
I'm certain I'm going to absolutely butcher these fine guys, the pronunciation of their names, but I'm going to give it a shot. On guitars, we have Julian Chanou, guitars and vocals, Cedric Tufuti, sorry, I again apologize. Drums, we have Mehdi Thepenier, and on bass, Clément Envie. And again, my sincere apologies. No disrespect. The 1 year of French I took in high school clearly did not help me here.
Je ne comprends pas. Je suis stupid American.
What the hell? Why aren't you saying these names? Clearly, you speak more French than I do.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Never mind. I'm not going to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Your take is that each of the songs on this album kind of stands alone. My take was that this album doesn't have a tremendous amount of variation to it, but is very consistent front to back, which I like. I enjoyed that on this because, again, it was my introduction to the band. It gave me a good window of the kind of stuff they're into. From a production standpoint, I think it's really, really well-produced album. One of the things that I like the most about it is it feels like a very honest album in that modern metal tends to be, it gets edited a lot, For instance, a guitar player will go into the studio and he'll record his guitar parts, and then the guitar player or a producer or someone will go in and edit that guitar part down, like sometimes to the point of individual notes, and slide them around on the grid so everything's perfect and there's, you don't hear any extraneous noise and things like that. This album is not that kind of heavy record. It's honest in that you can hear the fingers sliding across strings between different chords and notes and things like that. They left that in there. The result is it's an honest record. Is it absolutely perfect? No, but that's what makes it good. They didn't need to make it absolutely pristinely executed for it to be a great record. The mix is fantastic. All the instruments have their own space in the mix, which is an impressive feat given the amount of cavernous reverb that is all over this album. I mean, it sounds like it was recorded in a cathedral.
And I love that. The creepier, the better, the darker, the better. Maybe I have a dark soul. I don't know. But this is a very dark record in the best way possible. And Kowloon Lights is just, for me, is one of the songs of the year. It has everything that you could want in it, a very gothy, gloomy, bridge, and then a great chorus. Just the execution of the musicians too is just amazing. and the worst is yet to come is a juggernaut of a record. It just crushes, it's like an army tank, and then it gives way to this great sing-along chorus, which was cool as hell. But I love the whole record. I could go, you'd say, hey, what's your favorite song on the record? I listened to this thing front to back, and I'm happy doing so.
That's how I've been listening to it as well. Start at the beginning and let it run all the way through, because I like the presentation of the album. I think the way they arranged the album in terms of the songs is great. They did a good job. I want to go back to, you were talking about his melodic singing. There's no growls on this album.
Mm-mm.
There's no screamy. There's no screamo. He is a very melodic singer, which is kind of a nice break from what we've been reviewing and everything lately. A lot of really super aggro vocals, and it's nice to lay back a little bit and have some really well done melodies put forth from a vocal standpoint. So that's a lot of fun listening to in this album too. I love the effects and the tones chosen for the instruments, the guitar and the bass. They're really heavy effects, but not overwhelmingly so. I think a lot of producers will tell you, when it comes to effects on a guitar or on vocals or any instrument for that matter, that it's like seasoning for your food. You don't want to put too much on, or it sort of takes over the whole of the instrument that you're putting the effects on. And while these are really thick in the mix, they're not too much. They work really, really well. The bass tone is fucking nasty on this album. It's so good.
Yeah, and I mentioned Jeff Tate from Queensryche. Certainly not the same level of singing, but the melodic parts. When you think back to Jeff Tate from like Empire, I could see some similarities there to some of the tones and even some of the middle of the road singing. Not the high end stuff that Tate does, because they certainly do not do that.
Yeah.
But I felt a little bit of like how I felt listening to Empire for the first time. Again, I might be completely on crack. I don't know.
So you're on crack and you're fucked up in the head.
I just really love how the melodies stand out. The singing it works, because a lot of metal bands cannot pull off the clear channel singing.
Clean vocals. Yeah, for sure. I think another element of how they write is the tunings, the guitar tunings that they're choosing. They write in a lot of down-tuned stuff. Drop E, drop C tunings, which if you're a guitar player, you know what that means. But in terms of the overall aesthetic, it's low, it's heavy, and it provides a nice balance. It keeps the album heavy while there are nice, clean, melodic vocals over the top. It's not lost anything. It's still a heavy record.
Yeah. I'm going to quote a competitor, because we don't really have competitors, but I really like Ghost Cult magazine. And they said, as someone who also tries to live their life without the benefits of prescription medication, this album should be taken as a replacement for such drugs handed down by Big Pharma.
Wow.
And I thought it was such a perfect quote. And again, kudos to Ghost Cult magazine. They do actually do a really, really nice job. So giving them a call out at just writing about bands. I wish we had more time to write, but that was, to me, was such a great quote and the ultimate compliment. I think if you name an album Saddiction, you're gonna probably like that quote. It's probably going to really hit home for you. And honesty about how you're feeling sometimes manifests great art, as we've talked about, and I think that is the case here.
Well, it's a great album. I'm glad you turned me on to these guys. Count me as a fan. They'll be on my playlists moving forward. So great record.
Cool. Are we doing numbers anymore, or are we just saying fuck that?
You know what? At the end of the day, I suppose one of our 3 or 4 listeners might, say, well, I don't know if I want to listen to this because they didn't put a number on it. But I'd like to think that anybody foolish enough to tune into this nonsense is, got a quarter of a brain at least.
So they know that we like it, so we don't need to do that.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a great record, and I'll be listening to it and listening to their back catalog as well. Speaking of listeners, quick shout out. We have a new listener in the great state, the granite state of New Hampshire. A quick howdy to my boy Mike Snow up there. Appreciate you checking things out. So
awesome,
and
good to have you, Mike.
Yeah, we love the folks that are willing to check us out. I love going through our platform statistics and seeing what countries and stuff we're getting spins in, and man, we got some spins in far off lands that I would not have expected. So we appreciate anybody willing to do that. You know what? And to that end, I hate to beg, but if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, if you'd hit that the subscribe button and the notification bell and stuff, that would be awesome. This is, as Derek said, this is a fun gig for us, but we would like to grow what we're doing a little bit. And if you can hit the subscribe button, that does help us out a little bit, and throw a comment down, even if it's just some rock horns in the comments or whatever, and all that, we appreciate it. So for those that have done it, thank you. And if you're willing to just have us show up in your feed, we appreciate the hell out of it.
I apologize too. I've been moving, so life has been chaotic. We haven't done as many podcasts as we had hoped. We did a couple solo ones. I think the intent is we might do some quick solo ones that are 5 minutes here and there, but try to consistently do one together a week. If you guys out there in the world have a band or an album that you're really digging, let us know. Let us know. This is collaboration. We are smarter than me. You guys know just as much as we do. We just take the time to chat and bullshit about it. And, maybe we need to shit talk each other a little bit more.
I was just going to say, we haven't, we've kind of gotten away from that. And, you're funny enough looking that I should say something about it.
Well, you're wearing a fucking, you look like you should be at a picnic.
Right. I was in the office today. I needed to be somewhat presentable. And I thought, you know what, do I throw a Meshuggah shirt on for this? And I thought, no, nobody gives a shit.
Try harder, John.
I will try harder.
Yeah, you look like you should be wearing like a bonnet, like your Southern Belle or something that's going to be out having a picnic.
Well, I'm sorry. I was told once that my shirt looks more like a picnic tablecloth. So
it does.
There's that.
There is
that. On that sword.
Yeah, try harder. Wear some fucking metal shirts. Maybe you buy some too. Maybe go to more shows and get some more metal t-shirts.
Now, I'm going to have to get some Hangman Share merch.
I was thinking about that too.
Band. Yeah,
I was thinking about that too. Anyways, good to see your face. Actually, it's not. Your face is hideous.
I've had enough. I'm ready to get off this call. Yeah. You're too much for one man to take for too long.
Yeah, you make me want to wear a diaper and shit my pants.
That's right.
Yeah. Goodbye. Had enough.
See ya.